Hey, what's up, YouTube? Like, comment, subscribe, share. So, starting to do horse vlogging. Pretty much got the idea whenever I used to ride motorcycles. I used to watch a lot of moto vlogs, Downshift 83, Yami Noob, guys like that. But I figure while I'm on here, might as well talk about whatever's on my mind. So, anyway, I am about an hour into this ride. I'm on the back hill stretch or down home stretch or whatever. So I'm almost home right now. I'm probably about a mile away from the house. So out here on Rocco. I guess the first thing I'll talk about is why horses make the best antidepressant. So a little backstory about me. I got into this roughly 2 years ago. I didn't know a damn thing about horses. I mean, I kind of knew that they had 4 legs, a tail, you know, they ate grass and stuff like that, but I didn't know much beyond that. Moved out on some property. One of the first orders of business was for me to go and get a horse, and I did. Thought I knew what to do. I did not. To make a long story short, I'll discuss that later. So I started learning up on it, learning up on horses, and trying to figure it out. Trying to figure it all out. Had a couple of people who knew a thing or two about horses kind of give me some tips, some pointers, things like that. But for the most part, I'm pretty much been self-taught for the last couple of years, and I know this may fall into the hands of some horse people who are going to slide in the comments and say this and say that, but you know, this really ain't for you. So for me, the biggest things I had to wrap my head around about horses were 3 things. First, that horses are prey animals, meaning that they think everything is trying to eat them. They think that some big bad predator is in those, just behind those cedars. That trash is a predator. Those beer cans are predators. They think everything, that plastic bag in the tree, that's a predator. But they think everything out here is trying to eat them. That's, you know, that's part of their prey drive instinct. That's how they've managed to survive for the past millions and millions of years, is by having that instinct. So that's kind of the first thing that you have to, or I had to wrap my head. Their instinctive response is fight or flight. So that's number 1. Number 2 is horses work off of pressure and release, meaning that they move off of pressure, or you get them to work off of pressure, and then their reward is the release of that pressure. They like to be left alone. So that's the other thing I had to wrap my head around. Lastly, third big thing I had to wrap my head around, that horses are lazy. Horses are lazy, and they try to look for the easy way out of everything. So whenever you train them, you make the wrong thing hard for them, and they'll eventually do the right thing, because the right thing is going to be easier for them, if that makes sense. And oh shit, to the example of you're trying to mount a horse, he tries to move or anything like that, you work him for a short bit, and then you keep doing it, and eventually he'll realize, you know what, it's easier if I just let him get on me and let him tell me when to go than for them to try to go themselves. See, he don't like that sign right there, so he's going across the street. I guess he ain't in the mood for a 4-bed, 2-bath, double wide. So once I wrapped my head around those 3 concepts, everything was pretty easy for me. As far as working with them, trying to train them, stuff like that. And I'm not saying that I'm a horse trainer at all. Like, don't get it twisted. I'm not a horse trainer. I'm just a regular guy that's trying to figure all this out on my own. So, I mean, something else that I learned that's a big lesson in life. I guess we've all heard the expression of get back in the saddle. That is so true. That is so true when it comes to horses. because horses are very smart. The other horse I have, she's a paint, and she's bucked me off several times. Or a poop break. Poop right. Whenever I first got bucked off, something inside of me told me to get back on. Get bucked off, get back on. So I did. And that first day I got my first horse, she bucked me off 3 times, and she's done it a couple of times ever since. But I got back on. And later on, I found out that, in some ways for horses, that is a bit of a defense mechanism. If they buck you off and you stay off, then they will associate that, oh, I just have to buck this dude off, and it's done. It's game over. I don't have to deal with them being on my back anymore. The gate's not there yet, bro. Come on. The gate's not there. That's something that I've learned in life, People will test you. People will try to push your limits. You have to stay consistent. All right, so I'm home now. I'm just riding him around the property, because usually we just go straight to the gate, but I'm not about to let him just go straight to the gate, because I'm just being kind of petty. I'm being kind of petty like that right now. But those 4 things I talked about, or 3-4 things I talked about. Horses work off the pressure and release. They're prey animals. They always look for the easy way out, or they try to look for the easy way out and getting back in the saddle, which kind of ties into my last point, is that once you kind of wrap your head around all that stuff, that's how horses function and things like that. There's probably more to it, and I'll learn about it as I go. But the biggest thing that goes along with horses and horsemanship and riding and all that crap is you. You are 90% of the equation. Once you have a horse that's pretty well broke and things like that, that's what their skills and everything else, that they tend to not forget that. So a lot of it, in my opinion, is just rider error, not being a confident rider, not getting out there and working the horse as much as you should, being impatient with it. And it shows. It shows what kind of rider that you were. Whenever I first bought my first horse, I didn't know what I had at all, period. Her down over there. I didn't know what I had. I rode her. She kind of did okay at first. Then she bucked me off, and then after that, it was kind of game over for me. So, short time later, my brother comes over. And he hops on her, and she just rides like it's nothing, like it's absolutely nothing. And that just blew my mind. I'm like, I thought I had a green horse, or a horse that wasn't broke, and he's riding on her like it was nothing. So it wasn't her, so to speak. It was all me, because I wasn't a confident rider. One more up and back. So a lot of it is you. You have to work on yourself and your skills to develop your own confidence, because if you're not, it's going to show. It's going to show in the horse. The horses are going to know. The horses are going to know what type of rider you are, and they'll pick up on it, and they'll take advantage of it. If you're nervous, timid, whatever else, they will pick up on that crap pretty easily. And to me, that is a huge, huge life lesson for me, is that a lot of problems in your life, a lot of bullshit that you got going on, guarantee you work on yourself, a lot of that's going to go away. Once you understand how the game is played, the rest is up to you. Once you learn how horses function, the rest is really up to you. Well, he neck reins all right. So anyway, that's that. I'm gonna stop him right here and we're gonna walk back. Like, comment, subscribe.